Hi everyone and welcome to Bookmas Day 8. Today I'm going to be talking you through the worst books of 2025 and my best books of 2025. So this is going to be basically my 1 stars and 5 stars. Let's just get right into it. So starting with my 1 stars, we have Off Limits. Technically this was a DNF, but I rated it 1 star because it was that bad. I had to rate it. Although I did also read 80% of it, so I feel like I could have rated it. This one was just terrible. Did not like it at all. I don't even know how I got to 80%, and I'm really sad that this was the first book of the year. I would definitely say this is probably the worst book I have ever read as well. This is supposed to be like a stepdaughter, stepfather. Now that doesn't bother me personally. I read a lot of taboo stuff. I've read stepfather, stepdaughter before. This one just wasn't done in the way that it should have been. This one did feel very predatorial. It was very off-putting, it was cringy, and I hated the way the male main character kept comparing her to her mother. Like, that was just cringe to me. No thank you. Then we have The Burning, and this one was 1 star. Wasn't for me, it was YA. I was bored the whole time. I'm going to be completely honest, I don't remember much about it, and that's what normally 1 star means as well. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it because it was that bad. It's just like left my brain. I got this from like a charity shop without like hearing anything about it, and it just wasn't for me. Then we have Dexter is Delicious, which is the 5th book in Dexter. I had to rate this one 1 star. This one was like the worst book in the series. I don't know what happened, but I really struggled to get through this one. If it wasn't for an audiobook, I don't think I would have finished it. Like I said, I don't know what happened. It's just as I got further into the series, the worse the books got. I don't know why, but then I can't really say that because the books after this was 2 stars. Like I said, I don't know what happened to book 5. It wasn't for me. It wasn't good. Then we have Make Me and Need Me by Tessa Bailey. And actually on this list I can also add Happenstance. This was the moment I realised maybe Tessa Bailey isn't an author for me anymore. The more that I read Tessa Bailey's books, the more I realise maybe she isn't an author for me anymore. Maybe my taste has grown more than like a few years ago. Because these books I didn't enjoy. I did not like the characters in any of these books. With Happenstance, I also didn't like the female character. You know what? I just don't like the characters in any of these. And if I don't like the characters, it's a no-go for the book. But the plot just also wasn't for me. It was like really boring or like kind of like all over the place. These books just wasn't for me personally. Then we have Single Dad. Now I'm not going to lie to you, I could not tell you a single thing about this book. I don't know why I rated it 1 star. It must have been terrible. It must not have been for me. I couldn't tell you a single thing of why I rated this one. I don't even remember reading it, so I can't really say much about that. Then we have Never Vacation with Your Ex, which I again rated 1 star. I am surprised that I hated it this much. Now I went into this knowing it was YA, but this just felt very childish to me, and especially considering they're supposed to be at the age of like maturity, they definitely wasn't mature. They was very immature. Like, it was all over the place. I just did not enjoy this, and the writing personally wasn't for me. Then we have Murder Under the Mistletoe. This is like Christmas short story, unlike the murder mystery side, and again, just wasn't for me. I was bored. If, like I said, 1 star, I'm bored. There's not really much for me to say about these books. Then we have The Cage of God. Now I went into this blindly, but if I had known what this book was about before I bought it or before I read it, I definitely wouldn't have picked it up. This type of book just isn't for me personally. Nothing against the book. It's not the book's fault. It's more of a me fault. So don't go by me rating it 1 star thinking that it won't be for you, because it might be. Like I said, it wasn't the book per se, it's just what the book's about wasn't for me. And then finally we have Bad Graces. Again, wasn't for me. I was bored the whole time. The plot just felt like it was all over the place. Didn't enjoy the characters. If it wasn't for the audiobook, I definitely would not have finished this. So now onto my 5 stars. We have Fourth Wing, which is a reread for me. But if you know me, you know how much I love Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing is my favourite fantasy, one of my favourite books. I love fantasy. Like, it hurts my soul whenever I hear someone talking bad about Fourth Wing, which I get. Everyone has different opinions. That is completely fine. But it does break my heart because I love it so much. The characters, amazing. The world, amazing. The world building, amazing. Dragons, love. Can't go wrong. Like, I don't have a single bad thing to say about Fourth Wing. Ask me about Iron Flame and maybe Onyx Storm. Maybe. Fourth Wing, no. Perfection. Then we have We Used to Live Here. This is a mystery thriller and definitely different from what I normally read, because when you go into this you think, oh, it's going to be a casual mystery thriller. This one leaves you so confused. You want to know what's going to happen. Like, loads of different things are happening. You're like, what's true? You don't know what's true. You don't know what's happening. But what I love about this book specifically is it's different from any other mystery thriller because it includes Morse code. So at the bottom of each chapter, it leaves out like a Morse code for you to figure out, and near the end of the book you would have figured out the secret message, which I absolutely loved. I felt like it added to the story because you was having to figure out this message yourself. Then we have Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the series. Also by far my favourite. I enjoyed every single moment that I was reading this book. I read it in one sitting. It was amazing. If you watched my first week of the 60 books in 60 days challenge, you will also see my reactions. But this I absolutely love. It follows a singer, like a famous singer, and my favourite part was definitely the audiobook, which I never thought I would say, but with the audiobook, when she writes songs, you actually got the narrator singing the songs, and that just gave it a completely different experience, and it was done so well. I would highly recommend the audiobook if you're thinking about reading Wild Eyes. But not only that, the book itself, the characters was amazing. The chemistry between the characters was like, I was shocked. It was like phenomenal. Then we have The Boyfriend by Freida McFadden. This one was a wild ride. I absolutely love a Freida McFadden book. I feel like sometimes you think you kind of know what's going on, but then boom, there's a plot twist and you're shocked because you got it all wrong. Like, Freida McFadden is very good at making you think one thing, making you think you're right. It's leading to one person or whatever, one thing, and then bam, it's all wrong. It's the least expected. And that was a big thing with The Boyfriend. I would also say with this one, there was like, I would say it's more gruesome, but like I kind of loved it. It really gave you details about like the murder. Yeah, but like I really enjoyed like getting the details because I feel like it really like immersed you into the story. If you are a true crime person, I suppose this one will be for you. Then we have Sin With Me by Brooke Montgomery. This one was a 5-star read just because I would definitely say if you're going to go into this one, check trigger warnings. But this one, I have never, without getting too dark, I've never been so seen in my life. I feel like it was done so well. The representation of depression couldn't have been any better. You see in the progression of our male main character was amazing, really well done. I also love that it represented depression in men as well. I feel like that's so important and not talked about enough, and this book does it, which again, phenomenal. But along with all the dark topics, we also do have a little bit of taboo, but not really, in my opinion, and that is ex-boyfriend's twin brother. But then this is also where they wake up married in Vegas. So I'm going to quickly read like the synopsis. From the moment he calls the crisis hotline, I'm drawn to his voice. As I help him through his darkest moments, we slowly get to know each other. The more he needs me, the more I need him too. A family emergency forces me away from my volunteer job, and I fear I'll never talk to him again until I'm introduced to my new boyfriend's twin brother. For years we ignore the undeniable tension between us. Even after my breakup with his brother, neither of us says a word about our history. He's a player and I'm too afraid of getting hurt again. But then my restraint snaps and I lose myself in a Syrian hot kiss. And he doesn't hold back. I realise he wants this as desperately as I do. Before things can go further, he stops us and my insecurities rush in. Dealing with the pain of losing my dad, I'm more confused about feelings than before. A lapse in judgment leads to getting poured over. And when chaos erupts, he knocks over the deputy, rewarding himself with a backseat ride with the sheriff's SUV. An article releases that tarnished his reputation and threatens his family's business. When I bail out another man for a crime he didn't commit, I get a target on my back too. My world flips upside down when we go to Vegas and wake up married. He begs me to give him a chance, 30 days to prove we should stay together. The honeymoon can't last forever in a southern small town. So this literally just gives you everything, at least what I want in a book, but what I assume you'd want in a book too. Then we have Wild Side, which is the third book in the Rose Hill series from Wild Eyes. And again, I don't really have like a lot to say about this one just because I have similar feelings with Wild Eyes. Great characters, great plot, but with it being like more kind of like there's a little bit of a light side, it also does discuss serious and emotional topics. But this is also different from what I normally read because this is about a female main character and her sister ends up passing away, and so obviously she thinks she's going to get custody of her nephew, but it turns out someone that she doesn't know, this strange man, actually has custody over her nephew. So she's obviously trying to fight it because she's like, I don't know who you are, why should you get my nephew? instead of like the sister's family, obviously. And then they obviously have to try and work out like a dynamic, because also our male main character lives quite far. Okay, then we have The Nanny is Off Limits. I love this book. I feel like I can't stop talking about it. I am obsessed with this book. It is definitely an obsession. Quick summary is, it is about Rowan, and he hasn't dated for over a year since the mother of his 3 children passed away, and he is like having to work a lot. He's exhausted, so he decides, I know, I'm going to get a nanny to help me with my children. That is when he meets Eliana, who is almost 20 years younger than him, but he thinks this is going to work out because she seems really good with the kids and the kids really like her. Well, when she's having to live with him, we all know where that's gonna go. Now, I'm not going to talk about this one too much, but this was a reread for me this year, and that'll be Heartless, which is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series. Again, another single dad nanny trope. I think you kind of know what my favourite trope is here. Cade is looking for a nanny for his son, and that is when he ends up meeting Willow, who is a lot younger than, and he's like not really sure about her in the beginning, and he thinks she's not going to be a great nanny for my son, but then he ends up deciding to give her a chance, and again, we all know where it can kind of lead to. Then we have Praise, which is the first book in the Salacious Plays series, so another reread for me. Absolutely love. This is also a ex-boyfriend's dad, obviously age gap. Okay, next is also another reread, and that is The Score by Elle Kennedy. This is my favourite book in the Off-Campus series, and that is mainly just because of one scene that'll forever break my heart. Like, I love that scene. If you know what scene I'm talking about, well then you know, but if you don't, go find out, go read it, because it is amazing. But it's definitely very popular. You've probably seen it on TikTok where it gets spoiled a lot, but I'm not going to spoil it here because it's like great to read for the first time. We have Phantasma, which also shocked me because I am not a big fantasy reader, but when I read this one, like, oh my goodness, I read this in one sitting as well. Like, the world building was amazing, the character, just everything about this book was amazing. I don't have one bad thing to say about it. Then we have Goalie by McKay Marie, and this is a coach-athlete hockey romance, and it also has a bit of age gap. Was obsessed with this. Again, read it in one sitting, could not put this book down. The chemistry between the characters was everything. And I loved all like the hockey game talk. Like, you got details, and I was invested. I loved it. Then we have Take My Name by Brooke Montgomery. I think you can kind of see a pattern here. Brooke Montgomery is like a 5-star author for me. I always know if I'm going to read one of their books, I'm going to love it. Again, The Small Town. This one's second chance. So this is about a male main character and female main character. They dated when they was teenagers, but then they decided their lives are like too different. They want different things. So they end up splitting up. They had already got married as well when they was younger. It is 10 years later. They are still married. Our female main character wants to get married to her now fiance. She's determined to get these papers signed. She's been sending our male main character these divorce papers for years. He's never signed them, and she's never been like too bothered about it because obviously she didn't need them signed then. Now she's desperate. She wants to marry this other man. So she ends up going to the small town, well, back to the small town where they both grew up, to force him to sign these divorce papers. But then our main character goes, give me another chance to prove why we should be back together. And that's where I'm going to leave it, because absolutely love. I'm not gonna lie, the female main character annoyed me at times, but I feel like it is definitely very important for the story, hence why I still rate it 5 stars. Then we have Reckless, Shameless and Breathless by Lex Martin. All of these were 5-star reads. This shocked me because I went into this series thinking, oh, it's going to be like a nice, quick, easy read, have tropes that I like, it'll be a fun time, you know. But then I left with them all being 5 stars, and that doesn't happen often, or often enough. Absolutely love this series, would highly recommend. There's some heartbreaking moments that happen in it, some heartwarming moments that happen in it, like, so good. Definitely recommend the second book. That was definitely my favourite. That's probably like a 6-star read for me. Then we have Great and Precious Things by Rebecca Yarros. This one was so heartbreaking and heartwarming. You feel all the emotions while reading this one. This is definitely a emotional roller coaster, as most of Rebecca Yarros' books are, but this one was like heartbreaking. If you don't know what this one is about, a quick summary. It is about Camden, who has come back from the war without his younger brother. His family blames him for his younger brother's death. But even with that said, Camden has come back to help his father. But while he is home, he also gets very close to his younger brother's girlfriend. And lastly, for 5 stars, we have Wildcard, which is the 4th book in the Rose Hill series. Are we surprised that this one's added onto the 5-star reads of this year? No, because I absolutely loved the whole series pretty much. So those are my worst and best books of 2025. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave this emoji if you're watching to the end, and hope to see you on my next one. Bye.